Hi, my name is Abby, and today I'm going to be reading to you 14 Ways to Die by Vincent Ralph. I'm going to be reading to you a few chapters each video, and these chapters tend to be a bit short, about 1 page long, so I will read 5 chapters in this video. 1. My mom was killed by the Magpie Man. The guy nods, and I wait for him to reply. When he doesn't, I say, 51 seconds from home, she was strangled to death and left to be rained on all night. They say to start with a bang, and that's the biggest one I've got. The man types words I can't see while the woman stares at me. I was 7, I say. I'm 17 now. The man clears his throat and asks, do you think you're the only applicant to have lost a parent? I shrug. You're not, but you are the only applicant whose mother was a victim of a serial killer. The woman writes something on a notepad and pushes it toward him. He nods and says, we'll be in touch. 2. My name is Jessica Simmons. I'm not your average internet star, but when I guess this isn't your average internet show. The ads say it's something different, a real look inside the lives of real people. No scripts, no airbrushing, no scenes set up for your entertainment. Just you and a camera crew and whatever you want to show. If this was halfway through the story rather than the start, I guess you'd call it a twist, because I'm not the kind of person to stream their life on YouTube. You'll have to take my word for it that this is out of character for me. Mom was 32 when she died, the first victim of a man they still haven't caught. Number 1 on a list that now stretches to 13. If you ask why I want to be one of the 5 people to star in a new online show about them and only them, it's pretty simple. I want to catch the Magpie Man, and this is how I'm going to do it. 3. It's been so long since Mom died that sometimes I doubt my own memories, even though the house is full of her pictures and her echoes live in the cracks on Dad's face. It was Dad who gave the murderer his name. He said that the Magpie Man liked shiny things, and Mom was the shiniest of all. He said she'd been borrowed. Like a library book, I'd asked, and he said sort of, but without a date to bring her back. Now I realize it was for his benefit as much as mine. When a husband loves his wife, the last thing he needs is a kid asking questions. When you're 7, you don't think your dad's full of shit, because he's the person who hugs and kisses you and keeps you safe. Why would he lie? He should have said that was our little secret, but he didn't, so I told everyone at school that the pretty moms would all be taken eventually, and Dad got called in for that. When I was 11, taking the bus home from school for the first time, we passed the shop where Mom used to work. The bus ride lasts 12 minutes and 29 seconds, then it's 15 footsteps to the alley. I dared myself to walk through, but refused every time. When I finally found the courage, I counted 1 minute and 42 seconds from one end to the other, from the shortcut to home. She made it halfway, less than a minute from safety. Chapter 4. There are no rules for mourning. When Mom died, the house felt gray and haunted, and Dad didn't look like himself anymore. One day, all the pictures of her disappeared, gone as suddenly as she was. It was Dad's way of preparing me for the truth he couldn't speak. People told him to move, that it was unhealthy to live near the alley where your wife was murdered, but he ignored them. I heard him on the phone once saying he'd already lost so much of her, why would he sell his remaining memories? And that night, the photos returned, filling every surface. She was everywhere and nowhere all at once. I cried, but they weren't real tears. I was copying the sadness of others, rather than feeling my own. I believed my mom would come back, convinced she would be the next knock at the door, the next phone call, the next hug from the line of strangers whose touch felt so different from hers. People told Dad to send me to a therapist, but again, he ignored them. Grief makes what you have more precious, and refusal to make. And by then, I was all he had left. So he held me tight through his refusal to make our loss any bigger than it had to be. It was my grandma Nan who changed that. She got tired of Dad's stories and cried if I asked when we could visit Mom in the museum for shiny things. She said I would find out eventually, the sooner the better, so she told me Mom was better. She said I would find out eventually, and the sooner the better. She told me Mom was gone forever. I called her a liar, I hated her, and then I cried the sharpest, heaviest, most unbearable tears of my life. Your grief journey changes when you aren't looking. It moves in fractions, black shifting through 1,000 shades of gray. It transforms into something else, a dull ache, a numbness that becomes the norm. Websites told me to write a note and put it in a balloon and release it to heaven, or make a memory quilt and fall asleep wrapped in Mom's best parts, or make a wish list of all the things to do before I died. I took pictures and hoarded the ones my parents had taken. I drew and painted and wrote shitty poetry and started a feelings journal. None of it worked, but I tried. When I was 14, I got angry and took it out on Dad, who refused to fight back. 7 years later, Mom was murdered, and he was still a body carrying around a shattered soul, like the newspaper you wrap broken glass in. But it was more than that. He let himself be my punching bag. I treated him terribly, and he took it because he loved me, and because he knew that when the anger comes, it's vicious and all-consuming. He hid his anger because he had to. I couldn't because I didn't know how. When I Googled the Magpie Man, I got hundreds of articles but no answers, just the names of all the people he has murdered and the comments from frustrated detectives. He's still out there somewhere, still killing, the monster who took my mother. And that is why the cameras can't start rolling soon enough. Chapter 5. My phone rings with a number I didn't recognize, and when I answer, a man says, "Miss Simmons, it's Adrian from the Eye. We received your application, and although the competition was fierce, we'd like you to be on Monday." This means that on the first day of every week for a month, I'll be live online from the moment I wake up until midnight. If I'm not a complete flop, 1 month will become 3. The show is about real lives with unique twists. That's what the application form said. It claimed audiences have enough of the same old formats. I don't know if that's true, but I need to give it my best shot. I see myself smiling in the mirror and stop because this isn't supposed to be a happy moment. It's just the beginning. When do I start? I ask. Adrian says 3 weeks. We have a few briefing sessions for you to attend where you'll get to meet the others. He sounds like he's reading off a sheet. I don't particularly want to see him, but what choice do I have? I'm guessing that they want to be famous rather than get justice, but I'll go and smile and do whatever has to be done to get my story across. Anyone can put themselves online these days, but mostly get lost in the crowd. The trick is to find a stage big enough to be remembered, and this show offers that. We need to meet your father, Adrian says. There are some things for him to sign. That's what I'm afraid of, because Dad doesn't know I've applied. He thought my interview was a shopping trip. You'll have to come here, I say. He doesn't like leaving the house in the daytime. This isn't a lie. Dad prefers it when it's quiet outside. He shops when the supermarket is empty. He doesn't like crowds of conversations. 3 times a week, he works night shifts in a factory, not because he has to, but because we all need to escape sometimes. I hope YouTube people are too busy to visit normal people's houses just to get a signature. I hope they send the paperwork and I can forge Dad's scribble and have more time to wear him down. But without a pause, Adrian says, "No problem, we'll see you tomorrow." Shit. Before he hangs up, he says, "We have high hopes for you, Jessica." I'm glad someone does. And that is the end of Chapter 5, which means that is the end of all we will be reading today. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to see more videos.